Hey, what's up guys? Kevin here from thesportsgeek.com, and in this video I'm going to go over my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 14 picks. I can't believe it's already Week 14 of the NFL season, just 4 weeks left of the regular season, so let's try to take advantage, hopefully get some good picks out here in Week 14 and for the rest of the regular season. All right, so before we get to my Week 14 picks, let's take a look back at my picks from last week's video. It was a rough week overall for most people. The scores on DraftKings were very low for the winning scores. And overall, a lot of disappointments across the board, including my video picks. You can see there I only had one solid pick. It was Jordan Howard. He had a monster game with 32.7 points with 3 touchdowns. But that was really my only really good pick of the week. I had some average picks. Ben Roethlisberger and Brown and Baldwin and Wilson were okay. They wouldn't ruin a lineup last week with how low the scoring was, but they weren't great picks. And then on the right-hand side there, you can see my bad picks. Dion Lewis with 7.8 points. Michael Thomas, 8.2. Dolphins was my favorite value defense. They put up 0 points. And then my GPP flyer pick was Adam Humphries, and he got injured with a concussion in the first half. So overall, pretty tough week. I did email out some really good picks. I emailed out about maybe 12 to 15 extra picks on top of the video picks. And included in those were Edelman, who had a big game. Ladarius Green was a cheap tight end that went off. Bucks defense was another value defense that I emailed out. So I did have some good picks in the email as well. So make sure you're signed up for the email updates if you're not already. You can just click on that lineup tool link in the YouTube description to sign up for those. And then really quick, I want to give a shout out to a couple people who emailed me. We had JDMT. He said he came first for $3,000, which is over $3,800 Canadian with the exchange. And you can see a screenshot there. He came first on FanDuel with 150 points. So congrats to you. We had Austin there in the bottom left. He won over $5,000 on $160 worth of lineups. And this one here was him coming 9th out of 56,000 in the Sunday Million. So congrats to Austin. And then lastly, on the right-hand side there, we had Chad. You can see he finished 4th. This was a $1 contest. He had 13 entries, so $13 worth, and he won $2,006. So congrats to you guys. Congrats to everyone else who emailed me or tweeted at me that I didn't get up here. And if you didn't win last week, hopefully this week is your week. All right, so on to my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 14 picks. And you'll notice that this week I'm doing a little bit of a different style of the videos. Let me know in the comments if you like it done this way. It's a little bit of hybrid with some text and some screenshots from Fantasy Labs. So starting off, we've got a quarterback wide receiver stack. Kirk Cousins of the Redskins, he's 6,300 on DraftKings, paired with Jamison Crowder, who's 5,600. The Redskins are at Philadelphia as a pick'em. The total is at 46.5 points, so pretty high total. Not crazy high, but it's decent at 46.5 points. I've got a screenshot there of Kirk Cousins' game log over the last 6 games. You can see he's been pretty dominant, throwing the ball a ton. The least amount of DraftKings points he's scored over the last 6 weeks is 18.4. So if he puts that up for you, it won't ruin your lineup. And then you can see he's had 4 games over 25 DraftKings points, a couple over 30, and he's been throwing the ball at least 30 times in the last 6 games and a couple times over 50, and he's had a touchdown in each. So he's been on fire lately. He's throwing the ball really well. Philadelphia is struggling a little bit against the pass, and I think this could be a good spot for Kirk Cousins to have another big game. Jamison Crowder has 12 or more DraftKings points in 8 straight games, and 3 games over 20 DraftKings points during that span. So he's been one of the most consistent receivers in the NFL as far as fantasy scoring and touchdowns as well. And he's still only 5,600, so a pretty good price there for both GPPs and cash games. My next stack here is a value stack. We got Eli Manning from the Giants, 5,500, much cheaper on DK than FanDuel. As you can see there, I've got a little star beside the DraftKings price. So I'll be playing him at DraftKings, and then I'm going to be pairing him with Odell Beckham, who's $8,000 this week. The Giants are at home, Sunday Night Football versus Dallas as 3-point underdogs with a total at 47.5 points. The last 4 games for the Cowboys, they've given up an average of 343 passing yards against per game. Eli Manning hasn't had many great fantasy scoring games this year, but he has averaged 20.9 DraftKings points at home, so he's playing much better at home than on the road. And then you can see there, I've got Odell Beckham Jr.'s screenshot for his game log. 23, 27, 9, 25, and 20 DraftKings points over his last 5 games. He's been targeted 10 or more times in 4 of those games. And you can see there he's gotten 5 touchdowns over those 5 games. So I think these two could be set up for a pretty big game on Sunday Night Football. And for the price, I really like them this week. Next up, for an elite running back, I'm going with Le'Veon Bell at $9,000. So there's lots of good options this week with David Johnson, LaShawn McCoy, Melvin Gordon. But I think I'm going to go with Bell at $9,000. The Steelers are at Buffalo as 2-point favorites with a total at 47 points. Le'Veon Bell's price has dropped $200 despite putting up 26.2 DraftKings points against the Giants last week, who rank 3rd in opponent yards per rushing attempt. And now he's facing the Bills, who rank 16th in that category. So a bit better matchup, even though they are on the road, not expected to score as many points. I think he's got a better matchup. You can see there his game log over the last 6 games, been an absolute beast. 26, 27, 37, 34, 13, 24 DraftKings points over those games. Not only does he run the ball a lot and well, he also gets targets. You can see there 5 or more targets in each game. A couple games over 10 targets. So pretty crazy for a running back to get that much action in the passing game. But Le'Veon Bell is just a beast, and I think he has a big game in Buffalo, which should be a cold weather game, but I don't think that will affect him too much. I think they should give him the ball quite a bit, and he should have probably 25 to 30 touches again this week. Next up, we got a value wide receiver here, Emmanuel Sanders from the Broncos, just $5,700 on DraftKings this week. The Broncos are at Tennessee at a pick'em price with a total at 43.5 points. The Titans rank 17th in yards against per passing attempt and 21st in points against per game. Sanders has seen 8 or more targets in 6 straight games, and he's got monster upside as he has scored 32 and 35 DraftKings points already this season. So he's very cheap this week, $5,700 in a good matchup with good upside. I should have quite a bit of Sanders this week. My first tight end play here is going to be Tyler Eifert from the Bengals. He's $6,000 on DraftKings. The Bengals are at Cleveland as 5-point favorites. We've got a total at 43 points in this one, and the Bengals' implied team total is at 24 points. The Browns rank 31st or second to last in passing yards against per pass attempt, and you can see Eifert's game log here. These are the 5 games since he's fully been back from injury. 28, 12, 6, 17, and 10 DraftKings points. He's gotten a touchdown in 3 of those 5 games. And since AJ Green went down against the Bills, he was targeted 11 times and then 2 times against Philadelphia. So last week was a little different, was a little odd. They were up pretty big, so he didn't get too many targets. I think Andy Dalton still threw the ball about 30 times, but the Eagles are pretty good against tight ends. So I expect something more like against Baltimore where he saw 11 targets. I would say maybe 7+ targets would be a pretty safe floor for Eifert this week. And against the Browns, I expect him to probably find the end zone once and maybe even twice and have a pretty big game. So at $6,000, he's expensive for a tight end. I don't like paying up for tight ends, but I think of Eifert more as a receiver here with AJ Green out. And then another tight end play that I like is Ladarius Green from the Steelers, $3,900 on DraftKings. Like I said earlier, the Steelers are in Buffalo against the Bills. Ladarius Green will be a popular play coming off 26 DraftKings points last week, but he's still worth a play at his price, in my opinion. He had 11 targets and 6 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown last week. And also Ben just missed him in the end zone late in the game as well. So I'm kind of happy that he didn't get that second touchdown, or his ownership would be just crazy this week. I still think it will be pretty high, but I don't think it'll be overly high that I'm too worried about it. Green has led tight ends in yards per target over the last 2 weeks, and I think his snap and route numbers should continue to go up. Ben loves throwing to tight ends. I wouldn't be surprised if Green had another big day, and I like the price at $3,900. And then lastly, I've got my favorite defense under $3,000 on DraftKings. This week it's going to be the Steelers. They're $2,800. So obviously the best defenses are usually $3,000 and above. But for my favorite value defense, I like Pittsburgh this week. They're at Buffalo as 2-point favorites. We've got a total at 47 points. Tyrod Taylor has thrown an interception in 3 of his last 4 games. And if you look at the Steelers game log here over their last 3 games, they've gotten at least 1 interception in all 3 games. They've put up 22, 11, and 9 DraftKings points. They've gotten multiple sacks in each of those games as well. And the opponent points against 14, 7, and 9. So the Steelers defense has been playing great lately. They've done some personnel changes and really starting to play some good football defensively. So I think they could have another big game. I think they'll be low owned on the road. And at $2,800, they're my favorite value defense. So that wraps up my DraftKings and FanDuel NFL Week 14 picks. If you want to win more money on DraftKings or FanDuel this year, I highly recommend you check out Fantasy Labs. I'll leave a link to Fantasy Labs in the YouTube description below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click that like or thumbs up button. It will help support my YouTube channel and let me know that you want me to continue to make these videos. So as always, guys, good luck in your contest this week. Hope you make some money. Cheers. If you don't want to miss out on any videos that I post, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. To do that, just click on this button over here. Or if you want to watch another one of my videos that I think you'll enjoy, click on the video image over here.